Wait, so did they make that?
Is he gonna put it on?
Because that's not his real jacket then, right?
He kissed it! He kissed it! Ah! Wait, what the fuck's on your ear? What do you mean, dude? I'm showing my support. Patriots obviously need to do the bold thing and show their support.
It is my honor to introduce the 45th and soon-to-be 47th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
It's coming.
Across the plains of Texas,
There he is.
from sea to shining sea. And I'm proud to be an American.
What the f?
Oh, that's weird. Oh, that's weird. Oh, it kind of looks like him. Like, it kind of looks like that's weird.
Imagine if he pulls out a gun and shoots the guy.
I don't think he's gonna do that. Oh my God, he's in front of a White House. Are they doing a reenactment?
It looks like it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. Wow. I stand before you this evening with a message of confidence, strength, and hope. 4 months from now, we will have an incredible victory, and we will begin the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. Division in our society must be healed. We must heal it quickly. As Americans, we are bound together by a single fate and a shared destiny. We
Oh my God,
rise
if somebody
together.
popped a balloon in there, it would go nutty, dude.
I am running
Just
to be
one balloon, dude.
president
Oh
Everyone
my-
will
for
die.
all of
Everyone will
America,
get shot.
not half of America, because there is no victory in winning for half of America. So tonight, with faith and devotion, I proudly accept your nomination for President of the United States. Thank you. Let me begin this evening by expressing my gratitude to the American people for your outpouring of love and support following the assassination attempt at my rally on Saturday. As you already know, the assassin's bullet came within a quarter of an inch of taking my life. So many people have asked me, what happened? Tell us what happened, please. And therefore, I will tell you exactly what happened.
He's going to cry.
And you'll never hear it from me a second time because it's actually too painful to tell. It was a warm, beautiful day in the early evening in Butler Township in the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
Oh, he's milking it so hard.
Yep.
Oh my God, he's
Music
the milkmaid.
was loudly playing, and the campaign was doing really well. I went to the stage, and the crowd was cheering wildly. Everybody was happy. I began speaking very strongly, powerfully, and happily
Very strongly.
because I was
Happily?
discussing the great job my administration did on immigration at the southern border. We were very proud of it. Behind me and to the right was a large screen that was displaying a chart of border crossings under my leadership.
How is that relevant?
The numbers
He's giving
were
all the details, bro.
absolutely amazing.
He's setting the
In
scene.
order to see the chart, I started to, like this, turn to my right and was ready to begin a little bit further turn, which I'm very lucky I didn't do, when I heard a loud whizzing sound and felt something hit me really, really hard on my right ear. I said to myself, wow,
look at
what
this.
was that? It can only be a bullet. And moved my right hand to my ear, brought it down. My hand was covered with blood, just absolutely blood all over the place.
Absolutely blood.
I immediately knew it was very
The reddest
serious,
blood.
that we were under attack, and in one movement proceeded to drop to the ground.
Perfectly.
Bullets were continuing to fly, as very brave Secret Service agents rushed to the stage, and they really did. They rushed to the stage.
Look at the images. Oh my God, they're crying. They're like actually sad.
Yeah, wow.
These are great people, at great risk, I will tell you, and pounced on top of me so that I would be protected. There was
I hate
blood
him. They
pouring
don't give a shit about his
everywhere,
PTSD.
yet in a certain way,
I don't give a
felt
shit about
very
his
safe
PTSD.
because I had
What?
God
Oh, so he doesn't
on
have
my
PTSD.
side.
He's too
I felt
narcissistic.
Yeah, liberals are such simps, dude. Liberals are ready to go. They're like, I can't wait to vote for Trump illegally. Okay, man, he got
The
shot.
amazing thing is that prior to the shot,
Hello.
if I had not moved my head at that very last instant, the assassin's bullet would have perfectly hit its mark, and I would not be here tonight. We would not be together.
He's giving props to the assassin.
The most incredible aspect of what took place on that terrible evening in the fading sun was actually seen later. In almost all cases, as you probably know, and when even a single bullet is fired, just a single bullet, and we had many bullets
Where
that
are
were
you
being
going?
fired.
Yeah.
Where
Crowds
are you going?
run for the exits
Where?
or
Where?
stampede, but not in this case. It's very unusual. This massive crowd of tens of thousands of people stood by and didn't move an inch. In fact, many of them bravely but automatically stood up looking for where the sniper would be. They knew immediately it was a sniper. And then began pointing at him. You can see that if you look at the group behind me. That was just a small group compared to what was in front.
People were pointing at
Nobody
him before.
ran, and by not stampeding,
Yeah,
many
20
lives
minutes
were
prior.
saved. But that isn't the reason that they didn't move. The reason is that they knew I was in very serious trouble. They saw it. They saw me go down. They saw the blood and thought, actually, most did, that I was dead. They knew it was a shot to the head. They saw the blood. And there's an interesting statistic. The ears are the bloodiest part. If something happens with the ears, they bleed
What?
more than any other part of the body. For
What
whatever
is he
reason, the
saying?
doctors told me that. I said, why is there so much blood? He
Look at
said,
your
it's the
nose.
ears. They bleed more. So we learned something, but they just, this beautiful crowd, they didn't want to leave me. They knew I was in trouble. They didn't want to leave me. And you can see that love written all over their faces. They're
Please talk about your
incredible
shoes.
people.
That's what I really want.
They're incredible people. Bullets were flying over us,
Yeah, why?
yet I felt serene. But now the Secret Service agents were putting themselves in peril. They were in very dangerous territory. Bullets were flying right over them, missing them by a very small amount of inches. And then it all stopped. Our Secret Service sniper, from a much greater distance and with only one bullet
No.
used,
He was like right on top of him.
took the assassin's life, took him out.
Wait, really?
Wait, no. Way.
I'm not
come-
supposed to be here tonight. Not supposed to be
How do you
here.
actually spell his name?
No? Thank you. But I'm not. And I'll tell you, I stand before you in this arena only by the grace of Almighty God. In watching the reports
Checking in on the Joe
over
meter.
the last few days, many people say it was
86% now.
a providential moment. Probably was. When I rose, surrounded by Secret Service, the crowd was confused because they thought I was dead, and there was great, great sorrow. I could see that on their faces as I looked out. They didn't know I was looking out. They thought it was over. But I could see it, and I wanted to do something to let them know I was okay. I raised my right arm, looked at the thousands and thousands of people that were breathlessly waiting, and started shouting, "Fight, fight, fight."
Against who?
Mexicans.
Thank you.
Okay, he
Once
lies.
my
He
clenched
said, where are my shoes?
fist went up,
First he said, where are my
and it
shoes?
was
Not without
high
Where are my
my shoes.
shoes?
into the air. You've all seen that. The crowd realized I was okay and roared with pride for our country like no crowd I have ever heard before. For the rest of my life, I will be grateful for the love shown by that giant audience of patriots that stood bravely on that fateful evening in Pennsylvania. Tragically, the shooter claimed the life of one of our fellow Americans, Corey, comparator, unbelievable person, everybody tells me.
Unbelievable. Unbelievably racist. As we found out.
Seriously wounded. Two other great warriors, spoke to them today. David Dutch and James Copenhaver. Two great people. I also spoke to all three families of these tremendous people. Our love and prayers are with them and always will be. We're never going to forget them. They came for a great rally. They were serious Trumpsters, I want to tell you. They were serious Trumpsters and still are. But Corey, unfortunately, we have to use the past tense. He was incredible. He was a highly respected former fire chief, respected by everybody. Was accompanied by his wife, Helen, incredible woman. I spoke to her today, devastated, and two precious daughters. He lost his life selflessly acting as a human shield to protect them from flying bullets. He went right over the top of them and was hit. What a fine man he was.
I can't tell if they actually misspelled his name or not. It wouldn't shock me. Oh my God, they did. Compratore. Oh my God.
Wait, so did they make
Is
that?
he gonna put it on?
Because that's not his real jacket then, right?
He kissed it! He kissed it! Ah! Send me a screenshot, chat. Send me a screenshot, please. I have to tweet it. Someone in the chat, send me a screenshot of that, please.
I want to thank the fire department and the family for sending his helmet, his outfit, and it was just something, and they're going to do something very special when they get it. But we did something which cannot match what happened, not even close. But I am very proud to say that over the past few days, we've raised $6.3
He's so
million
zesty!
for the families of David, James, and Corey, including from a friend of mine.
Thank you, I got it.
They all said the same thing. You're right, sir. We appreciate so much what you're doing, but nothing can take the place in the case of Corey. And the other two, by the way, they were very, very seriously injured, but now they're doing very well. They're going to be okay. They're going to be doing very well. They're warriors. So now I ask that we observe a moment of silence in honor of our friend Corey.
Are we allowed to speak?
Yeah, I don't give a fuck. Yeah, oh no.
I thought maybe Twitch would ban you if you...
There's no greater love.
That was a
Down
second.
one's life.
Bro, Trump could not wait for like
This is
10
the
seconds,
spirit
bro.
that forged America in
He
her darkest
immediately went
hours.
right in.
And this is the love that will lead America back to the summit of
Feels like a jump
human
cut back
achievement
to it.
and greatness. This is what we need. Despite such a heinous attack, we unite this evening more determined
The name on the
than
jacket
ever.
is spelled
I
wrong
am
in the
more
fire
determined
department
than
as
ever,
well.
and
I
so
don't know
are you.
why.
So is everybody in this room. Our resolve is unbroken and our purpose is unchanged to deliver a government that serves the American people better than ever before. Nothing will stop me in this mission because our vision is righteous and our cause is pure. No matter what obstacle comes our way, we will not break, we will not bend, we will not back down, and I will never stop fighting for you, your family, and our magnificent country. Never.
Never.
This election should be about the issues facing our country and how to make America successful, safe, free, and great again. In an age when our politics too often divide us, now is the time to remember that we are all fellow citizens. We are one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And we must not criminalize dissent or demonize political disagreement, which is what's been happening in our country lately at a level that nobody has ever seen before. In that spirit, the Democrat Party should immediately stop weaponizing the justice system and labeling their political opponent as an enemy of democracy, especially since that is not true. In fact, I am the one saving democracy for the people of our country. And very big news, as you probably just read.
Crazy. He got his ear shot off, and
On
he's still
Monday,
like,
a major
they said
ruling
mean
was handed
words
down
about
from
me.
a highly
because the ear
respected federal
thing is
judge
playing
in
well.
Florida, Eileen Cannon, finding that the prosecutor and the fake documents case against me were totally unconstitutional, and the entire case was thrown out of
That's
court.
how you know. That's the only he cares about. He's like, yeah, just drop the charges against me for unity, please. Please, for unity. Come on now. Drop the charges.
Democrats want to unify our country. They should drop these partisan witch hunts, which I have been going through for approximately 8 years. And they should do that without delay and allow an election to proceed that is worthy of our people. We're going to win it anyway, but worthy of our people.
So far, very little attacks
Thank you,
against
Jason.
the Democrats. So
But I'm thrilled
CNN
to
will
have
definitely
a
talk about
And partner
how
fighting
uniting
by
he
my
is.
side.
See, look at the
The
Chiron.
next
Discord and
Vice
division in our
President of
society
the
must be
United
healed.
States. And by the way, Wisconsin, we are spending over $250 million here creating jobs and other economic development all over the place. So I hope you will remember this in November and give us your vote. I am trying to buy your vote. I'll be honest about that.
What the
And I promise we will make Wisconsin great again. We're going to make it. Under our leadership, the United States will be respected again. No nation will question our power. No enemy will doubt our might. Our borders will be totally secure. Our economy will soar. We will return law and order to our streets, patriotism to our schools, and importantly, we will restore peace, stability, and harmony all throughout the world. But to achieve this future, we must first rescue our nation from failed and even incompetent leadership. We have totally incompetent leadership. This will be the most important election in the history of our country. Under the current administration, we are indeed a nation in decline. We have an inflation crisis that is making life unaffordable, ravaging the incomes of working and low-income families, and crushing, just simply crushing our people like never before. They've never seen anything like it. We also have an illegal immigration crisis, and it's taking place right now as we sit here in this beautiful arena. It's a massive invasion at our southern border that has spread misery, crime, poverty, disease, and destruction to communities all across our land. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. I make this pledge to the great people of America. I will end the devastating inflation crisis immediately, bring down interest rates, and lower the cost of energy. We will drill, baby, drill.
We weren't doing that. That's what really gets the crowd going.
Holes in the ground.
No, I mean, those guys are all like oil barons and shit, so they are actually stoked on that.
I brought taxes way down, way down, and yet we took in more revenues the following year than we did when the tax rate was much higher. Most people said, how did you do that? Because it was incentive. Everybody was coming to the country. They were bringing back billions and billions of dollars into our country. The companies made it impossible to bring it back. The tax rate was too high, and the legal complications were far too great.
That's
changed
how it
both
works.
of them.
Got it.
And hundreds of billions of dollars by Apple and so many other companies were brought back. They said, oh, that's okay. We won't go to Congress. I call it an invasion. We gave our military almost $800 billion. I said, I'm going to take a little of that money because this is an invasion. And we built, most of the wall is already built. And we built it through using the funds because what's better than that? We have to stop the invasion into our country that's killing hundreds of thousands of people a year.
Hundreds of thousands of people being killed by migrants every year.
And now Iran is very close to having a nuclear weapon, which would have never happened. This is a shame.
He directly is responsible for it. He threw the denuclearization agreement.
Administration has done, and I say it often. If you took the 10 worst presidents in the history of the United States, think of it, the 10 worst, added them up, they will not have done the damage that Biden has done. Only going to use the term once. Biden. I'm not going to use the name anymore, just one time. Just a few short years ago, under my presidency, we had the most secure border and best economy in the history of our country, in the history of the world. We had the greatest economy in the history of the world. We had never done anything like it. We were beating every country, including China, by leaps and bounds. Nobody had seen anything like it.
No.
We had no inflation, soaring incomes were going. Nobody can believe it. You can't believe what happened 4 years ago.
Yeah, nobody can believe it because it's not
now
correct.
In reverse, millions of people pouring into our country, the black population and the Hispanic population, because they're taking the jobs from our black population, our Hispanic population, and they're also taking them from unions. The unions are suffering because of it.
What?
Thank you. Thank you. I like you too. Whether you've supported me in the past or not, I hope you will support me in the future because I will bring back the American dream. That's what we're going to do. You don't even hear about the American dream anymore. With great humility,
Look at those young
I am
Republicans,
asking you to
dude.
be excited about the future of our country.
They
be
all
excited.
look like the
Be
shooter.
excited.
Yeah.
To our citizens, starting on day one, we will drive down prices and make America affordable again.
How are you going to do that?
Make it affordable. It's not affordable. People can't live like this.
I want to know
Under
how he's
this
going to do that.
administration,
Tax cuts for the oil guys.
our current administration, groceries are up 57%, gasoline is up 60 and 70%, mortgage rates have quadrupled. And the fact is, it doesn't matter what they are because you can't get the money anyway. You can't buy houses. Young people can't get any financing to buy a house. The total household costs have increased an average of $28,000 per family under this administration. Republicans have a plan to bring down prices and bring them down very, very rapidly. By slashing energy costs, we will in turn reduce the cost of transportation, manufacturing, and all household goods. So much starts with energy. And remember, we have more liquid gold under our feet than any other country by far. We are a nation that has the opportunity to make an absolute fortune with its energy. We have it, and China doesn't.
What's the liberal argument against Trump that he's a bad guy? So bad, and there's not a single solution offered. Of course, people believe Trump.
And by the way, they want to
tax
raise
and pray
your
to the
taxes.
capitalist gods ain't cutting it. Yeah, that's what the liberal argument is, that Trump is just a bad guy. That's the only thing I ever say. Hasan admitted you will vote for Trump after this. People are so
talked
stupid,
about.
dude.
This is
No,
the
surely
only
they're joking.
administration that said
No, I
we're
think
going to
people
raise your
legitimately
taxes by 4
do
times what you're
get
paying now,
moved
and people are
by this
supposed.
speech.
I think people are
I've
dumb as.
never heard it.
So you don't like
It's a
paying
scam.
$28K more a year?
And that's caused
Of course you don't
tremendous
notice it. We notice it.
inflationary
I do.
pressures in
You're an
addition to
idiot.
the cost of energy.
Your tax cuts are coming back, by the way. Your tax cuts have already perished. You know that, right? Because they sunset. They sunset now. You know whose tax cuts are not sunsetting? Mine, motherfucker. Corporate tax rates and the top marginal tax rate are permanent tax cuts. Everyone else's tax cuts are actually sunsetting. You're stupid. The tax cut that you got is like $5, dumb. Don't try to come in here and be LARP as like, yo, I'm a broke man. That's why I need the tax cuts. That kind of attitude is exactly why dumb vote for policies that harm them.
If you go back 20, 25 years, they've stolen, going to China and Mexico, about 68% of our auto industry manufacturing jobs. We're going to get them all back. We're going to get them all back, every one of them.
Bro, he said this last time. He was president for 4 years. He didn't do shit.
Relief are massive tax cuts for workers that include something else that's turned out to be very popular, actually. Here it's very popular in this building and
He
all
said
those
this like
hotels
when he was running for president last
I'm
time.
staying in a nice one. It's called no tax on tips. No tax on tips. No tax on tips.
The only American solution is tax cuts. There's no other solution. No increase in minimum wage.
I got that
tax
by
cuts.
having dinner
That's gonna
recently.
decrease the minimum
in
wage because
Nevada, where we're
employers will be
leading
like,
by
oh, you're
about
getting more
14
tips
points.
now.
Yeah. Good luck
Hello.
explaining that to Americans. The reason why
Trump
the
building.
restaurant owners are clapping is because they're the ones who benefit from this. No tax on tips
How's
is,
everything going?
once again,
Really nice
explain
person.
to the working
$70
class that rely on tips as a good thing, when in fact it is just going to keep the minimum
well, they
wages
give you
low,
cash,
as
would they
low
be
as
able to
physically
find what she said,
possible.
actually?
Everybody loves the idea of non-taxable tips and then hates paying 80% in the tip jar when it comes down to it, because that's precisely what's going to happen. No,
And by
that
the
doesn't
way,
make sense.
And I think everybody, as a
The
Republican,
wages will
as a
be even
patriot in
lower.
this room, and
Companies
most
get away with
Democrats,
paying less
We want people
wages.
to come
Currently,
into our country.
the
but
minimum
they-
wage for tippable positions is like $2 or some shit in most restaurants.
Legal.
They rely on tips to survive. I think that those tips are not going to be taxed only gives further
Less than
incentive
4
to
years
businesses
ago,
to
I
even
handed this
keep those wages as low as
administration the
possible. It's
strongest border in
$2.25
American history.
an hour.
But you can
$2.25 an hour
see
right now.
A certain country, and I happen to like the president of that country very much, but he's been getting great publicity because he's a wonderful shepherd of the country. He says how well the country's doing because their crime rate is down. And he said he's training all of these rough people. They're rough. He's training them. And I've been reading about this for 2 years. I think, oh, that's wonderful. Let's take a look at it. But then I realized he's not training them. He's sending all of his criminals, his drug dealers, his people that are in jails, he's sending them all to the United States. And he's different in that he doesn't say that. He's trying to convince everybody what a wonderful job he does in running the country. Well, he doesn't do a wonderful job. And by the way, if I ran one of the countries, many countries,
He's talking
many
about
countries from all over,
Bukele?
I would be worse
No.
than any of them. I would have had the place totally emptied out already.
Is he talking about El Salvador? Bukele's a right-wing darling now. He spoke at
We
CPAC.
become a dumping ground for the rest of the world, which is laughing at us. They think we're stupid. And they can't believe that they're getting away with what they're getting away with, but they're not going to be getting away with it for long. That's what I can tell you. In Venezuela, Caracas, high crime. Caracas, Venezuela, really a dangerous place, but not anymore. Because in Venezuela, crime is down 72%. In fact, if they would ever win this election, I hate to even say that, we will have our next Republican convention in Venezuela because it will be safe. Our cities will be so unsafe, we won't be able. We will not be able to have it there. In El Salvador, murders are down by 70%. Why are they down? Now, he would have you convinced that because he's trained murderers to be wonderful people. No.
Oh, he is
They're down
saying.
because they're sending their murderers to the United States of America.
Oh, he's saying, yeah, he
This
is
is
on
very
Bukele.
bad.
Who is a right-wing darling now. He literally
And
spoke
bad
at
things are
a
going to happen.
Republican
And you're seeing
convention
it happen
recently.
all the time. That's why, to keep our families safe, the Republican platform promises to launch the largest deportation operation in the history of our country. even larger than that of President Dwight D. Eisenhower from many years ago. You know, he was a moderate, but he believed very strongly in borders. He had the largest deportation operation we've ever had. Just recently, I spoke to the grieving mother of Jocelyn Nungary, a wonderful woman, a precious 12-year-old girl from Houston who last month was tied up, assaulted, and strangled to death after walking to the convenience store just a block away from her house. Her body was dumped near the side of the road in a shallow creek, found by some onlookers who couldn't believe what they had witnessed. Charged with Jocelyn's heinous murder are 2 illegal aliens from Venezuela who came across our border, were in custody, and were then released into the country by this horrible, horrible administration that we have right now.
He talked about Operation Wetback, by the way. That's what he was talking about.
Mother and sister of Rachel Morin. Rachel was a
in positive
37-year-old mom of 5 beautiful children who was brutally
That's what it was
raped and
called.
murdered while out on.
That's literally what it was called. Yes, Operation that word.
Murdered. The monster responsible first killed another woman in El Salvador before he was led into America by the White House. This White House let them in. He then attacked a 9-year-old girl and her mother in a home invasion in Los Angeles before murdering Rachel in Maryland. Traveled all throughout the country, doing tremendous damage. Rachel's mother will never be the same. I spent time with her. She will never be the same. I've also met with the wonderful family of Laken Riley, the brilliant 22-year-old nursing student. She was so proud of being first in her class, who was out for a jog on the campus of the University of Georgia when she was assaulted, beaten, and horrifically killed. Yet another American life was stolen by a criminal alien set free by this administration. And these were incredible people we're talking about. These were incredible people who died. Tonight, America, this is my vow. I will not let these killers and criminals into our country.
Bro, he's going to put concentration camps up 100%. There's no other way to do this. The operation I'm talking about right now, the Bracero program, literally had that, by the way. They had concentration camps.
Streets, we will help bring
mass deportation, 1.3 million migrant workers.
Look at that attack on Israel. Look at what's happening with Ukraine. The cities are just bombed out. How can people live like that where buildings, massive buildings, are falling to the ground? It began to unravel with the disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan, the worst humiliation in the history of our country. We have never had a humiliation like that. 13 heroic U.S. service members were tragically and needlessly killed. 45 others were horrifically wounded. Nobody ever talks about them.
I'm taking this off, bro. I can't.
Properly stated.
Made my ear too warm.
But we need a leader that will let it be done. We will not have men playing in women's sports. That will end immediately.
That goes hard at the RNC.
AI needs literally twice the electricity that's available now in our country. Can you imagine? But instead, we're spending places where they recharge electric cars.
Wait,
they
he's
built
pro
8
AI?
chargers
What?
at a certain location toward the Midwest. 8 charges for $9 billion. Think of them as a tank for filling up your gas. Think of it. They spent $9 billion on 8 charges, 3 of which didn't work. And
Dude,
if you
the one good thing is that he's cooking Elon.
country, this crazy electric mandate, if you're going to do this,
He's just
and by the
cooking
way,
Elon
I'm
so
all for
hard
electric.
after Elon said
They
he's going to
have
give
their
him $45
application.
million a
But if
month.
somebody wants to buy a gas-powered car, gasoline-powered car, or a hybrid, they're going to be able to do it. And we're going to make that change on day 1. Just a few short days ago, my journey with you nearly ended. We know that. And yet, here we are tonight, all gathered together, talking about the future, promise, and a total renewal of a thing we love very much. It's called America.
Oh my God, he went on
We
and
live
on
in a
so
world of
long.
miracles.
I just despise Donald Trump so much, and it's just like listening to him
story of
yap
love,
for 90 minutes has like brought me back to an era in my life where I just like a couple of the hogs that came in here to be like, no, dude, actually like lowering tax rates is good for me. And then it's just like, it broke my brain again. Yes, what I care about is not what Trump is saying. What Trump is saying is the same old boilerplate bullshit that he said a million times over that we've heard in his rallies, but this time he's not calling Joe Sleepy Joe. What I care about is how CNN and all these dipshits are going to analyze the speech. Are they going to say it's presidential? Are they actually going to have smoke for him? That will determine what the rest of the country, not those who are dialed in, not the RNC, who's like obviously going to love this yap fest, but the actual people, the people in the margins, the moderates, the independents, like how will they interpret this speech? Will they get to see the entire depth of the speech? Will they get to see the anti-immigrant sentiment? If CNN glazes him and says he united the party or whatever and didn't take pot shots at Biden, then a lot of people are going to get a very different perspective from the speech that is, dude was almost killed. You don't think he deserves an extended speech? No.
So truly deserve.
What? I don't give a shit, dude. What?
Future.
What kind of baby nonsense is this? Oh, he was almost killed. He deserves an extended speech. What are you? What is he, your best friend? He was a former president. Yeah, he needs more than 90 minutes to talk about how immigrants are rapists and have killed 1 billion Americans, dude. You're right. I can't get enough.
God bless you, Wisconsin, and God bless the United States of America, our great country. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Yeah, this dumb. Oh my God, what an awful speech. Oh my God, it was so boring. I almost like ripped my eyeballs out. Not only was it incredibly annoying, but it brought back some of the worst type of Republicans into this community. I know I was like very excited at the prospect of having hogs in here every now and then, but I had forgotten how absolutely nutty and how absolutely unimaginably stupid hogs can get. Like literally in the chat advocating for tax cuts for themselves, not realizing that that actually is the reason why nothing is funded in this country and that they will get nothing out of those tax cuts. You know, it's just a way to further erode the limited amount of social safety nets that Americans already have. And then not only that, but then also on top of that, there were like actual long-term community subscribers being like, well, actually tax cuts are good. You don't understand. That guy's not a dumb hog who's like who's defending how wonderful it'll be for them to get tax cuts and for you to get tax cuts. But instead, it's actually, that person actually is like coming at it from a point of like addressing your privilege. That's the dumbest thing. Because when I see my own community members get duped by like virtually the dumbest type of person, a dude with a Honda Civic, a busted 1994 Honda Civic who thinks that's a asset, who thinks he owns private property, who thinks like these policies are helping them, advocate against their best interest, advocate against anything that could help them potentially, and then have my own community members turn around and also go, no, that guy, hold on, he has a point actually, is just, it just makes me go insane. Yeah, dude, you're right. Raytheon needs another 10% corporate tax cut. You're right. They're so wonderful. They're so brilliant. Big Pharma needs another 10% tax cut. That'll certainly improve the American economy. It's just like one of the things that is genuinely one of the most devastating policies of Donald Trump's administration. So when people turn around and like advocate for it as though it helped them, it makes me shut down completely. Like it breaks my brain a little bit. Like even an animal knows what's best for them. You know what I mean? Like a feral animal knows that they need shelter, knows that they need food, knows where they can get food, knows what to avoid, you know? Knows to avoid humans. You are worse than a feral animal in that situation while simultaneously thinking that you're brilliant, you know? When you're like, no, I'm going to vote for rich people to literally deregulate the economy and get more tax breaks. This is before we talk about the 90 plus minutes that he spent talking about how undocumented migrants have killed billions of Americans, okay? Millions of Americans, billions of Americans. Every American has died. There was a mass genocide in America because Mexicans came over the border and killed everybody. He said at a certain point, hundreds of thousands of Americans have been killed by migrants. That's what he said. Brother, you're literally ignoring what tip workers are feeling right now and how this economy feels for us. Not being taxed 50% on tips would be amazing. Is it against our long-term best interest? Yes. Does it help me now? Yes. He's going to win. He's going to win. He's going to win. No, he's going to win 100%. That's exactly the type of policy that like every American immediately cuts through. He's going to win 100%. The real solution to wage workers in the service sector is to improve minimum wage. It's not to fix the problem by trying to cut taxes on tips. It's just like, it's the biggest issue with hogs too, that my grandpa used to say, sometimes you got to think with your head, not with your pocketbook. And that's not even what I'm talking about. I'm not even talking about the cuts on the tips. Like, I'm not even talking about that when I talk about tax breaks. That's just a talking point for him. What he actually wants to do is cut the corporate tax rate even further, which is insane. It's just like, everybody complains about how bad tipping has become without recognizing that there's a reason why in Europe, for example, there is no tipping culture. That's because wages do not come from tips. That's because people are not constantly in a knife fight. You don't have to be servile to ensure that you can get like some kind of, you don't have to behave like a servile robot to ensure that you get your pay secured. Your pay should be secured.